I love it when government employees who commit fraud or corruption say that they could be making so much more money if they did the exact same job in the private sector, because my reaction is, then you should have worked in the private sector. You don't who I mean, doesn't everyone know the government jobs are not you're not going to make all the money if you're looking for all the money. Don't go into a government job.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much common knowledge.
You'll have stability.
Yes.
You usually have generous benefits.
Yes.
But you're not going to be making the Goldman Sachs salaries
No.
in the private sector. So if that's what you were after, go work somewhere else. However, that said, we know that this is a regular rationalization for any fraud, where it's like somebody else doing my same job would be making so much more than me. That's why it's okay for me to get my beak wet in these fraudulent ways. That's
right.
The rationalization side of the fraud triangle.
Yep.
But we see, I feel like that's particularly the case in these governmental frauds and in these municipal frauds. And that might be because I used to be a public school teacher, and I remember a lot of times when I would get worked up or I'd be working crazy hours at my job, just going, the number of times as a government employee, as a teacher, that I would say I don't get paid enough for this that happened a lot to me. So now, did I commit fraud? No, I did not. But at the same time, I understand the sentiment, and if it gets out of control, that's going to fuel a lot of that can fuel fraud and corruption, like we saw here, like we saw in the Roslyn School District case. That's the same thing that the superintendent of that school district said when he and his business manager stole $11 million from the district.
Yep.
So this is it's striking a familiar chord in fraud with that. The other thing that came to mind is that once again, and I find, Caleb, I think this is such an interesting thing, such an interesting pattern that we've seen in these cases, is that people who are good at their jobs are also really, really good at stealing from their employers.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, again, to successfully pull off some major fraud, you've got to be a pretty smart person to do that. But on top of that, you're going to gain the trust. You're going to gain the ability to pull off those frauds if you're really, really good at your job. So we look at Robert Rizzo. He came in to this failing city of Bell, and it sounds like objectively he turned that city around.
Yep.
By doing, and that's how you start getting these justifications of, yeah, we make a lot of money, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
We needed somebody who could come in and could turn the city around, and he did. And now, shouldn't he be compensated for the job that he did for the residents of Bell, California? Again, another rationalization that's just right there that can be used both by the perpetrator and by the people who what's the word?
Enablers.
Enable. So it's a great rationalization for people who commit the fraud